Hey everyone, how's it going? It's been a very busy past couple weeks, and the main reason why I have not been very active on the channel. So if you guys have been disappointed with that, I do apologize humbly. But when you, well, at least when I take on a new certification that I have to do, and I put that in quotes, have to do, it's one of those things where it just kind of consumes you. It's actually kind of a good consume, actually. There's actually a lot of stuff that I've been learning. I've been tackling CCNA wireless for the past 2 weeks, and I have to say with some optimism, a lot of optimism, that it's actually a pretty cool track now that I've actually spent some time in it and gone through some of the material. And I'm probably 70% of the way through the material. I still have, what do I have left? I'm doing centralized wireless implementation now, which I downloaded live lessons with Jerome Henry, really good guy. Um, I am in configuring RRM with DCA, DPC, and CHD, or no, have I passed that? No, configuring a wireless LAN. So I'm in the different tabs. So for instance, um, basically this is what I've got going on for my setup. I've got the virtual WILSI running inside of ESXi, and I'm going to go ahead and click on wireless LANs. It's going to make me re-authenticate. So I've got, it's going pretty well actually for the most part. It's actually going really well. I've got one AP here sitting in this guy, and it's going really well. Like I said, I'm using live. Went to live lessons. I bought the videos. I downloaded the videos, and I've been watching them. There's a lot of content in here. There's actually on my other monitor. You can probably see me looking at it. There's a lot of information in here. The videos range from just a couple of minutes to 10, 15, so they're not too terribly long. I've actually been putting together a notepad doc where I'm taking notes as he goes through the material and following along with what he shows. So, like for instance, I've got the AP pulled up in front of you, so you can see that through the controller. And so I've been going through here and playing with different things and stuff like that. So it's been really good. And the cool thing about this is if we go to monitor, if you look right here, the software version is 8.0.121.0. The cool thing about this is um, the version of code that you need to be working for on the CCNA wireless blueprint is 8.0 code. So you download this from Cisco's site. You don't have to have a service contract or anything like that. If you have a CCO account, you can download it and get this guy activated. If you want to activate it, you have to go to, I believe is it commands? No, management. Software active. So when you first spin it up and you log in, go to management, go down to software activation, go to licenses. If you click on base AP count, and if you look right here where it says priority, if you click on high and set priority and then apply, it'll actually go ahead and kick off your evaluation license. So what I'm doing is for the next, 8 weeks and 2 days, I'll go through and I'll play around with this. I've actually got, what do I have? I've got two, what kind of, what AP do I have? I have two 1131 APs on order. I think I spent like $20 on two access points. And then I've also got an 1141 that is going to be, I think that was $20, all on eBay. And um, I'm actually saving up now for a 13700 and 12600. Actually, hang on. I've got the um, where is it? CCA wireless lab exam information. Give me a second, guys. I'm study material, lab equipment and operations. So I'll need a 3700 AP. So I need to get one of them, which is what I'm doing, and then I need one 1600 AP. Now, they say to use, actually, let me go ahead and bring this over here on this page so you guys can see this. It says it right here. Let me blow this up a little bit. This by no means is an introduction to CCNA or CCA wireless. Um, just more or less of what I've been doing for the past couple days. If you look right here, you need to have either 5700 or 5500 series wireless controller. But more importantly, you need to be on Unified Wireless Network Software 8.0. So these platforms right here, that's what these are going to be testing you on. So if you have 8.0 code, that's what this interface is going to look like. So pretty good stuff there. I'm also running Prime. If you didn't see that, I'm running Prime here. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'm running Prime 2.2, which is on the blueprint. I've also got ICE 1.3, which is what you need. I'm going to click on OK. And OK, once it wants to respond. And close this guy out. So I've got a few devices here in Prime. So Prime is a basic implementation. This is the evaluation copy. So you can go onto Cisco's website, and I forgot exactly how I went about and got this. But basically it was, I'm trying to remember how I got this. I've had Prime now for a while. I just never used it. I never had a reason to, honestly. So that's what I've been doing lately. So I'm going to be learning Prime. And one of the cool things here, if we go to, is it controller? What WAN? No, sorry, monitor. If I go into detail here, these are all the local, these are all the rogue APs that, what do you call it? That uh, have been detected by the access point. Because right now, I'm actually full of information when it comes to wireless. I've been deep diving into it. Well, I should say I've been kind of simmering in it, not deep diving in it. These are all the different APs that you can see out there, and so I won't identify which one is mine, but you know, it is what it is. So there's that. So basically, yeah, it's been really cool. Been digging into a lot of the wireless pieces here, and it's on 8.0 code. So I have 200 access points that are supported on this particular device. I've got Prime set up here, so I can do that. I've got ICE functioning. I believe it's on my other screen here. ICE. Yes, it's on the other screen. No, so is that Prime? Yeah, that's you type in this other IP. Um, https://10.255.1.100. That should get me to Prime or to ICE. I've got an ICE server and I've got a Prime server, and so that's what I've been working on as of lately. And it's been cool. I've been learning a ton, and it's one of those things where, oh, yep, there it goes. It did take some time for it to catch it. And so it should redirect me to Identity Services Engine. You guys won't be able to see this because this is on another computer. So I'll go ahead and just log in admin, and then my password of ridiculousness. It's just a really complicated password. So now I'm in ICE. So you'll have to learn ICE, and that's going to be like the Radius server. So if you look over here on the blueprint, whoop, where'd it go? Right here, you have to learn ICE. And it says ICE 1.3, and I believe I've got ICE 1.2. I don't have Mobility Services Engine. I'll have to download that, but that's pretty much what I've been doing. So here's the other thing too. The thing that I'm going to be doing immediately after taking CCNA wireless and passing, I have to take a specialization exam as well for the partnership role that I work with. So I'll be taking that as well. And once I get that out of the way, I'll be able to focus on other things. So I'm still in the process of recording CCNA Service Provider. Actually, I was probably, I don't know, maybe 70% done. Maybe that's a little generous. Conservatively, I was probably like 60% done with all the videos, and I put them on a uh, put them on a drive. The computer that they were on, had power failure. The drive was lost when it rebooted, so I lost I think like 15, no 20, 30 videos, something like that. It was a lot of content. So I had to re-record everything, and it's actually kind of good that I had that happened. It was a blessing in disguise because I had a lot of formatting issues, the wrong resolution, wrong output size, things like that. So what I'm going to be doing as soon as I'm done with CCNA wireless, um, I'm going to rededicate a bunch of time back to CCNP service provider. So I'll be dedicating that. And the reason why is because a lot of that material I've already know. So like for instance, I'm going to be spending a significant amount of time for probably a couple weeks with ISIS just to go through it. And because I don't know it as well as OSPF or EIGRP, so I just want to spend the time where I just go through and, play around with it, throw it in Wireshark, do the debug, see what's going on, and just go through it. I don't think I really need to know it to the expert level just yet, because to me, expert level would mean you know everything protocol level that you need to know about it. But I plan on doing that or as time goes on, and then so I'll bring up this guy, and then I plan on spending a couple weeks doing that. Now, uh, beyond that, my next goal is to do some specifics towards some not certification specific, but more technology specific. So if I was to pull up where am I at here with Paint? So if I was to do this, let me go ahead and just draw it out in Paint real quick for you guys. I know you guys like visualizations whenever possible. So what I plan on doing here is CCNA wireless, and then the spec exam, and then I'm going to be refocusing my attentions after that to CCNP SP for route, advanced route, core, and edge. Core and edge. And then, but I'm not going to be like, I have to go through route, advanced route, core, and edge before I can do anything else. Um, a friend of mine who is, he's an IWAN expert. He kind of inspired me to go learn IWAN for a little bit. So I'm going to be doing some IWAN. And I already know pretty much all of it already um, for the core configuration. And that would include what they call front door VRF, um, EIGRP, the DMBPN piece of that, and then um, IPsec. We'll just keep it simple. So these are like the main concepts to IWAN that I already know. So there's some things like PFR. That's a little F, by the way. PFR v2/3. I want to learn how to work with that. And then there's also the what else is there? There is trying to think here. Like having a there's a lot of other things you can integrate with this, so you can throw it in Prime and deploy via Prime. There's ICE, there's WAS, there's what else is there? I think WCCP is also enabled in there somewhere. So there's quite a few pieces to getting IWAN operational, and these are the core up here, but everything in parentheses is more advanced capabilities. So I want to go through there and do that. Now, my intention with IWAN is to do a dual hub design like this, to where each device connects out to another connection. So this will be like regular internet. This will be, MPLS, and I'll go through and I'll set up an entire MPLS environment, and then we're going to have uh, several like spoke sites, and then each one of these is going to connect up here. And the idea here is to where you'll have DMBPN, and my buddy Steve, I'll give him a shout out. I won't mention his last name because he hasn't given me he hasn't like said it's okay for me to do that. But he's got a blog post, and I'm gonna ask him if it's okay if I put um, his blog post inside of the description and stuff like that to see if he's okay with that. I don't think he'll have a problem with it. But he's got a blog post where he did a migration to IWAN from an existing infrastructure. So I'm going to um, pretty much take what he's done and put it into a video format. And what I want to do here is I want to do an entire IWAN deployment and put a video series together for that. Um, and the reason for that is there's not much out there on IWAN, and just to see, just to show people how it works and stuff like that. And then once I've done IWAN, I do want to do CCNP wireless. I want to do SP. Um, those are first the NP specifics. I want to do security. Let's see what else is there. Wireless service provider security. I want to get CCDP. That's one exam for me. I'm planning on doing that sooner than later. It's probably as soon as I'm done with CCNA wireless, I'm probably going to make a sharp left-hand turn and do CCDP. Oh, there's also data center. I want to do data center as well. Now, the thing with DP is it brings in some wireless, some service providers, some security, and some data center inside of it, as well as route switch. So it's good to be kind of wide on all of these technologies to do DP, but I'm not too concerned about that because I know I can, watch a couple videos or do some reading and whatnot. I should be okay to pass the DP. So I want to take the DP, get that. And to me, the SP track will be pretty straightforward because it's a lot of overlap from the route switch track. Wireless doesn't seem too bad. That's why I've actually bought a few access points, and I'm going to eventually build myself out to a full CCA lab for wireless. And I'm going to probably install a couple more Wilsys so I can do like multi Wilsy setups. And if you're familiar with the mobility agent, the mobility controller, um, with doing roaming and things like that, those are going to be things that I'm going to be testing out so we can have multiple Wilsys, 3, 4 Wilsys and stuff like that. So I won't have a hardware limitation with like like for instance the 2504 controller has a limit of 75 APs, and you can do a 5 to 75 AP license for that. I don't have to worry about that with the virtual Wilsy. I just have to go in there, install a new one, and it can, basically license it, and I'll be good to go. So I'll do 2 or 3 of those. And then once I have that out of the way, that's pretty much going to be where I want to sit with that. So each one of these exams is, I believe NP is, for data center, it is, you have to take data center, it is the 999 and 997. You have the 998 and 996, as well as there's a troubleshooting. I'm honestly not sure what the breakout is. I wonder if, let me see here. It says 999 and 997 and 998 and 996, and then or 035 or 09 or 980. So I'm not sure if take one or the other. Actually, give me a second. I want to hear this. Well, anyway, I'm not. The video wouldn't play for whatever reason. So basically, it says there's 4 exams. So I guess you would have to take. I guess that makes sense. Where you'd have to take either. Give me a second here to get back to it. You'd either have to take these 2, and then these 2, or the 035 and the 980 exam. So either way, there's no. Let's see here. No, it can be applied. Exam combination tool. I've never actually used that before, but so I do plan on taking a bunch of, you guys might say, well, that's certification heavy. So the idea here is with SP, because there's so much overlap for route switch, it just makes sense. And then um, I plan on doing that. Security is going to take a while to go through because I don't know ICE that well, and that I want to make sure when I'm going through, I want to be able to demo things, and I typically like to go. I like to over prepare for when I go. Um, it's actually okay. Now it pulled up. Let's see here. CCNP data center. Okay. So let's see here. Hmm. That really doesn't tell me a whole lot. It's telling me that I need to have. This is actually what it's showing me right here. Um, it's showing me that I need to have 994, and I'm not entirely sure if that's actually what I need to have, but um, I would actually, I'd be the goof and I'd take all of them and not have to. Um, but so I'm not sure actually, to be honest with you, how that would work. But so yeah, that's pretty much where it would sit like that. I've so that's pretty much where I'm at with that. So I do want to take CCDP to wrap these guys up, and then I'm thinking in order of the way that I would do it, I would do SP, then I would do wireless, then I would do security. So I'm planning on for service provider about a 2 month window. That because a lot of that stuff I already know. It's just a matter of going through the material and doing some labs, making sure that I know it, go bang it out, be done. So theoretically speaking, I could have. I plan on. I have to have NA wireless done by 4/1. So I'll be taking that test really, really soon. Um, so this is all going to be done by 4/1, and then I plan on turning around and take DP probably by 5/1. This is a month later, just a study, and then by 7/1 be taking NP service provider, and then turn around and wireless is going to take some time because it's new material for me. And like I said just a moment ago, when I go through and I learn a new track, um, I'm one that I definitely like to over prepare. And the main reason for that is because it's not so much me being able to pass the test. I mean, that is a big function of the preparation, but it's also knowing how to do this stuff for the real world. Because I'm a consultant, I work in production environments every day. So for me, if I don't know how something works, that's going to if I'm there to deploy, that's going to look poorly on me if I don't know what I'm doing. So NP wireless is definitely going to be something I want to take a look at. And there's 4 exams for that. Security, there's 4 exams. There's every one of the NP exams or certifications, I should say. Sorry, is going to be 4 exams. So data center throws me off, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to focus on. I might just take all 6 for the hell of it and just say, I'm an overachiever because I wouldn't be paying for it. Work well. And then take data center and do that. But that's pretty much where I sit. So I'm thinking I should have SP and hopefully wireless done by the end of the. Or I think I could do 1 exam a month with wireless. It's just going through the material and knowing the technology. What's going to slow me down is the prime and the ice setup. That's the stuff that I don't know, and I'd have to go through the material and just learn ice and make sure it's working. And as a matter of fact, now that I've got it pulled up here, I'm just going to go to the Cisco docs here, and I think I can do a quick search for security. I'm not sure if I already pulled this up. You can go to access control and policy, I think is what it is, and then identity services engine, and then you would say the identity services engine software, and then give me a second, guys. I'll bring this over. Configuration guides 1.3. No, sorry. Um, administrator. So it's 14 megs. So I would take this and I would just download this and I would go in here and start playing with it. So I would set up management access and I would come in here and learn how to do all this. So literally when I'm learning something new, I'll read through the config guide and I'll read, what is this actually going to come out to be? This will be, I'll just go ahead and download it now since I'm right here. And the same thing with, any of the other, like, I've already got the config guide for the controller, so I'll just read through that. And I'll just go through what I'll do is like, for instance, I'll start up here with the guy still downloading. So what I'll do is I'll deploy, enable and configure Cisco ISE services. So I'll come in here and I'll start here and I'll just work my way down. And if it doesn't, it'll have like, policy elements, conditions. So I'll come in here at the same point in time. I'll also have, as I can come back through and I can go up to, where is it? Is there command reference? More categories? Command reference. So I'll go in here and I'll do 1.3 and I'll download this. And I'll come in here. Oh, that's API. Sorry, that's not what I'm looking for. I would do. They might not have that. What else do they have options up here for? Let's see. So they have a lot of guides in here. So I would download that and then I would probably. There's a lot of config examples. I'd read through this if I really wanted to learn ISE so that I would know it. So like here we have a bunch of stuff in here. So I would start at the top and I'd pick a feature and start going through it. And it just takes time. So like for instance, I'll pause the video and I'll download this. So I've got the ISE config guide pulled up on my other screen. It's 900 pages. So you figure if you took like for instance to set up a Cisco ISE management, there's 150 pages to go through on that one. Manage users and end devices, there's another 130. About 160 for configuring, monitoring, troubleshooting. So you figure if you spend a week just reading through it and but the click by click and just taking notes as you go along and just learning, a lot of it just learning the GUI, learning how stuff goes and getting it situated. Same thing with Prime. I know I've got Prime downloaded here too. I can go to open and then I've got the Wilsey, so I'll have to actually go out here and download the Prime. So let's go back here and back up a second here. I can go to, is it Systems Management? I gotta find Prime. Cloud Management? No, it is, honestly I don't know where Prime Network Services Controller? No. Actually, let me just do a quick Google search. It'll be quicker to do it that way. I'll type in Prime, Cisco Prime Infrastructure 2.2 configuration guide. So I'll do that and then I'll just click on this. So here we go. Is this Prime? Which version of Prime am I running? I honestly don't know. 2.2. So I'll need is that what I want? Yeah, so this is what I'll do. I'll come down here, I'll download this book and then it'll just be going in here and taking the applicable details from wireless and mapping them over. And the same thing with Prime for doesn't look like it's let's see here, what other options does it have? Configuration guides. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I would do. And then this way here, again, download this thing real quick, download the PDF, and then as soon as it downloads, it's just a matter of going through step by step. Okay, what else is there? And that's really, it's painstaking, but it's thorough. Then by the time you're done, you'll be like, oh, I know Prime. Yeah, I know the Wilsey controller, and I know this, I know that, but it's dedicating the time to it. So that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day is knowing how this stuff works. So there was a question that came in that I wanted to field just so I would know have a good answer for you is when you're dealing with a new technology or a new track and you're going through something, and specifically like CCNP service provider, the route exam, which basically they've taken the route switch route exam and they mapped the majority of it over to SP. They swapped out EIGRP for ISIS and they've injected RPLs for ILSXR. So for me, it's just a matter of going through and learning RPL. And is it difficult? Well, not from the majority of it, no. Is it more powerful than route maps? Absolutely. So what I'll be able to do is I'll go ahead and pause the video for this real quick. Going through and just learning how that works and just playing with different things. Start off real basic and then add, okay, make sure I do this feature and then take notes as to how it worked and stuff like that. I downloaded the Prime guide for 1.3 and it's about 1,000 pages. So you figure between ICE and Prime, you have a solid month of just going through and learning the click by click stuff and knowing how to do that. The other thing too that you'll have to know is what is it? Let me do this real quick. Um, Go in here 10.255.1.80 on 22. Give that a second to respond. I'm actually SSHing into my controller. So if I type in Rob and I type in the my password here, I'm in the controller. So if I do a question mark, it's very, very similar to regular iOS, as you can see. So you're going to want to learn how to do this, what do you call it? The CLI aspects of it as well. One thing I noticed too when I was playing around with this, if you do a show and you hit the enter key, you go into show options. So you can come down here and if you exit and then you go config and just hit the Q button, you're under config, and then you have your other options, what you want to configure. So a lot of what you can do is through here. I would recommend you know both sides. And honestly, that's where I'm at. So I don't want to bore you with trivial details and stuff like that. I know this was kind of like, a little hectic of a video, but as I'm sitting here thinking about it, like, oh, I haven't downloaded that, I haven't downloaded that. But just putting my, just letting you see me in a raw state of how I would go about doing stuff. And really, at the end of the day, that's what I'm doing. So, like for instance, if I wanted to configure this to configure, let's say, DHCP, 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 I have to come in here and proxy, and then enable, and then go from there. But as you can see, you can go underneath that specific configuration option and then do whatever you need to. So I would know both ways, especially if you're studying for CCIE or you're thinking about going that direction, which eventually I will. So my whole thing is like when I study for um, security, it'll be I want to go through and I want to be able to configure an ASA uh, completely from the command line and completely from the ASDM. I want to be able to do it both ways without I might have to think like maybe briefly on how to do something or like, okay, what was the command again? Or do a question mark to see where I'm at. But it's the being able to do everything from the command line and through the GUI and being proficient in both because that makes you that much better of an engineer. And my personal attention to detail simply basically throws I over prepare so that when I get into an exam, I'm not surprised by anything. I'll be like, oh, I know the answer to that. I know the answer to that. And the only drawback to that, though, when you go through it that much more and in depth, you tend to take more time to go through it. But I would rather take more time to go through the material and know it than not take enough time and think I know what I'm doing and then get to the exam and be like, what is this? Now, I'll be honest with you, there's been a few times where I've oh, just I think I'll just remember it, and that could work for you. I mean, some might say that I'm a good exam taker. I wouldn't say I'm a good exam taker because the reason why I don't believe that is because at the end of the day, you still have to go out there and you still have to know the material on the exam. So test taking skills, I'm sure there's some a valid part to that, but the part that I think is more valuable is the fact that I take the time to actually go through the material and learn it, and not just try to memorize it. All because to me, the major difference between memorizing something and learning something is memorization. You're going through and trying to remember how to configure OSPF on a router. Well, learning it is when you actually go in there and you type in the commands and you see the output. Then you're able to take a theoretical understanding to a practical deployment and application, put the two together, and you've remembered everything you need to. And then you'll have that's I believe they call them synapses in the brain. You'll be mapping a theory to a practicality, and you'll map that synapse. So one of the things that troubleshooting wise that I utilize on a pretty regular basis is if I need to test something out, or if I'm trying to troubleshoot a situation, I'll the first thing I look at is show commands because I remember what should be there, what a working configuration looks like versus what a non-configure working configuration looks like. If there's something missing, I can pretty much zero in on it pretty quickly, but that only comes from going through the material over and over and over again. There is somewhat a level of memorization, but that just comes from going through the material. So that's why it takes so long. And the other thing too is if you learn the material thoroughly from start to finish and you play with all the little sub features and for instance, if I click on here and I go to the controller here and I go to wireless LANs, then I click on this guy and then I go to security and then I go to, say for instance, I want to enable CCKM, enable this, and then I want to do something else, or if I disable that and I enable a pre-share key, and then I give it a name, and then I go here to layer 3 and I do whatever, and I click in here to get up AAA servers. If I go through that and I know every little sub feature, or like for instance, if I go into a router, if I configure a not so stubby area with a no summary, I know what I'm going to be doing with that. And then if I say I don't want it to, if I disable the P bit, then I know the route's not going to propagate from the not so stubby area to area 0 because it's not letting it because the type 7 and type 5 translation isn't enabled. So like I said, if you go through the material and you learn it, you'll be able to rattle stuff off the top of your head because it becomes second nature. I mean, just like anything that you become good with. That's my approach for everything when it comes to certifications. And the certification is a way for you to validate your skills, not a way for you to, and a way for you to um, separate yourself from others in the industry to make yourself unique to somebody else. But the certifications are great, and I know I put a lot of emphasis in them, but I put more emphasis in knowing the material that the certification exam is going to test on than knowing the exam cold. Because at the end of the day, the exam is only going to take me, I think on average I get about 90 minutes per exam, depending on the track and depending on the level of difficulty. On average, I take about half an hour to 45 minutes. I usually take about half the amount of time. The reason for that is because I read a question, and as I'm reading the question, unless it's a simulation or it's an evaluation, if it's a question with a set given amount of answers, I can look at the questions and I can just kind of glance over them, and I'm already looking for keywords because I already know the answer. Like, okay, trying to think of what type of authentication, uh, what, what type of authentication does OSPF clear text show up as in a debug? Well, type 1. I'm going to know that. I'm going to read through. I'm going to look for type 1 or clear text or something like that. Something that's going to jump out at me. And that's what I'm looking for. Now I'll read all the questions, or I'm sorry, all the responses to make sure that I haven't missed anything. So I'll take that the first 5 or 7 seconds after I read the question, I'll glance over the question or the answers, the responses, and then I'll go from there. Now the nice thing about it is I won't take the CCNP service provider exams until I'm ready to take all 4 because I'll just go in and take all 4 at one shot. Is that a little overkill? I don't think so, and I wouldn't recommend anybody else do this. The reason I'm going to do this is because of the fact that um, CCIE helped me prepare for all of that. So for me, it's just a lot of, okay, well, I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that. I can go in and take, if I schedule an exam at, say, 9 a.m., and I schedule another one at 11 a.m., and then, 1 and 3, um, I believe I should be okay with, and I think they're 90-minute windows. So if I go in there and something happens, I can go in there and just start banging them out. I know you can do it. I know people that have done that before. They've gone in. I've taken when I studied and took the CompTIA A plus exam. I studied for both exams then. For the I think it was the 220, 701, 702. I think is the one I took. I let that lapse about a year ago. Um, but it's in one of those situations where that's where I took both exams back to back. And it was just a matter of going in and just letting them know, okay, I'm ready. Because you have a time schedule and the location that I do my testing at, they usually have plenty of computers open. So they have to have a computer open in order for you to be able to schedule the test. So I know that a worst case scenario, if I have an hour's window, I could be like, okay, I'm ready for the next one, and just head on into the test and be done with it. Because a lot of that stuff I already know. It's not a matter of I'm brand new to OSPF, I'm brand new to BGP, I'm brand new to MPLS VPN. I'm not. I've studied this stuff for like the last 4 years. So for me, it's just a matter of going in and getting it knocked out while I can. So longer video than I planned on doing, but I know you guys like to have a good, solid like to hear me. So um, that's pretty much where I'm at with everything. So it's been busy. It's been a positive busy though, very very positive. Um, I don't talk about work right now because of the fact that it's been mostly studying for a test. Um, so that's pretty much where I'm at with that. You're probably not going to get that outside of the VAR world. So it is what it is. So it is late enough for me, folks. You guys have a great rest of your week, great day. Enjoy the weekend coming up to you. If it's a Monday and you're watching this video, I hope you have a great week. Stay positive, be good to each other. Don't try to be negative. If someone's lagging behind, try to pick them up. Do what you can for them. Be yourself, nobody else. Guys, take it easy. Till next time.